All right, Hackett Elementary. This is my second year at Hackett, and we are still finishing up some of the renovation and remodeling and that whole process. So from being a first-year principal to halfway through my first year starting a large renovation project to doing it throughout this entire year, I'm really looking forward to next year when everything will be calm and we're going to start right from the start. But as you look at our Hackett presentation tonight, you may just think, wow, this is kind of a little strange to start with this data, but I just want to show you. We know that one of our biggest challenges that we have with our students is the summer loss, okay? This is a huge barrier that we have when the students come back to us. So when you look at this graph right here, you are seeing our current first graders, so the class of 2025, when they left us, we were 61%, when we left last spring, 61% were at or above reading level for their grade. When they came back to us in the fall, only 27%. So we're talking same kids, okay? And then you'll see that that's our current second graders and our current third graders. So I'm kind of a data nerd, and I bring this to the staff, and we look at this, but this is a very telling piece of information. Now, if we look just from fall to winter, when we did our BAS testing, which is our reading achievement test that we do, our kindergartners, we don't test them in the fall because they're not quite reading. But we have 47% at or above where they're supposed to be right now. But if you look at that same group of first graders, they've made growth from fall to winter. But if we flash back to that last screen, they're not quite back to where they were when they left in the spring. We have that huge summer loss. Now, you may be looking at me and think, why in the world would you show this data to showcase your school? Well, because we know that we need to do something different, and that data tells us that what we're doing isn't working. So this year, as we were looking at our winter data again, and we're feel like you're sometimes banging your head against a wall because we're working and we're working and we're working, and we think we're making a difference, and then the data shows and we're like, oh, the kids just aren't grasping it the way that we want them to. So what do we need to do different? Okay, so we're meeting, and in one of our kindergarten PLCs, as we're looking at the data, one of the teachers got an idea, and she said, do I have permission to think outside the box? And I said, you have permission to blow up the box because we need to do that. So that's kind of the theory that we're at right now. What are we going to do different? So what I'm going to show you tonight is one of the areas that we have started. We know that we need to do the early intervention. Right now we're starting with our kindergarten. We're changing things up. We have students that come to us knowing zero letter sounds. They don't know which way to hold a book. And so we were looking at these children and we're like, what do we need to do different? So we did a lot of research. We were looking at some of the core muscle strength that our children are missing when they come to us. And what does that mean when a baby doesn't have the tummy time on the floor that they need? How does that affect them when they're 5 years old? Or does it not? So we, as a kindergarten team, did a lot of research led by our ECK teacher, Denny Klisch, who has a heart and passion for this. And she did the research on words that I had never even heard of before, and we're looking at the children's ocular motor system, and what does that mean, and how is that going to help them be a reader or not a reader. So we, as a group, led by Denny, the team developed some pre-tests to find out what skills are our children missing before we can even start to teach them the letters and the reading and all of the wonderful academic things that we do. But if they don't have those prerequisites, then what? I'm sure it'll come up here. This is a little video, it's supposed to be, of our kindergarten. There we go. Doing their intervention. Yeah, right. Seriously. Quick time not available.
It's not on there.
So it's not coming. That's all right. It's very interesting. Hey, if he can fix it, that'll be great. While working on their letters, she's designed some tube activities, and the children are crawling on their tummies to search for letters, to search for words, because that alone is helping them to strengthen their core. Now, their core muscles are tied to their eye muscles. And if they don't have a strong core, then their eyes can't track the words in order to read them. So I'm kind of sad that the QuickTime video isn't working on there, but it was showing the students and some of the intervention strategies that we're working on with the students. Following a stick without moving their head, strengthening their eye muscles, working on fixation, okay? The ability to maintain a steady vision. So their eyes aren't going all over the place. When their eyes do that, they can't focus and see a word. It just looks like blurriness to them. So we're doing different activities during that intervention for our children who were not ready to start right off with the letters and sounds. Working on their visual memory, like the little toys the little toys for babies, and then there's a square, and then it hides, but then it comes back out, and remembering and keeping that in their brain, and how that helps their reading. The line tracking. So we've kept data on all of these children. We started with 17 children in this group, and 17 children had no tracking, could not focus straight, could not sit up even for 3 seconds because their core muscles were so, like mine, not strong. And so we started with 17 students in this group at the beginning of the year. We have graduated 12 of them into the universal and regular group where they're ready to learn their letters, ready to read, ready to become the readers. And Denny, our ECK teacher, is so thrilled because she has struggled with this for years on students who were not ready because they were having some of those prerequisites lacking, and now how they are learning their letters and learning their sounds. We had one student who, when he came to us, and we started this intervention in December, and he came knowing 0 letters and sounds, and he's now up to 22, and he couldn't do anything without moving his head. And so the data that she's keeping is just amazing on all of these children. And this is what the types of things that we're doing at Hackett. We know now that we need to change how we're doing it. Our kids aren't learning it the way that it's been traditionally done. So what do we as educators need to do differently? And this is one of the ways that we are starting to meet the needs of those children. Another proud accomplishment is looking at our attendance and our lack of absent students. So this year we're down to a 4% absent rate, which last year we were at a 5.1% absent rate. So we know that they can't learn if they're not here. So we need them there. We have instituted this year daily calls. Every child that is on that absence list, we call before 9 a.m. to find out why they're gone, why we haven't heard from them. You know, is there anything we can do to help you get to school? We do weekly home visits with the social worker and our home school coordinator and me at times to find them if they're not at school. Where are you? What do we need to do to help you? And then we meet weekly with all parents whose children have 5 or more absences so that we can get them into school, talk about what we can do and what kind of plan we can develop to keep them coming. Our family participation, very excited this year at the increase that we've had in our family participation. Looking at December and January, that was the whole, not only was it freezing outside, okay, but that was the whole transition time in our building. We did not have as many family events as we have at the other time. So you'll see that December, we're about equal to last year. January, we had a few less. February, if you look at February, it appears that we had fewer family participants this year, but I did not count the ribbon cutting because that would have really skewed things and put things out of proportion. But the number of people that we had attend our ribbon cutting as well that were Hackett families. March was only up until here. We have our family fitness night coming up yet on Thursday, which is sure to draw a large crowd. So the family participation is really increasing. Our PTO meetings have gone from, we had 3 on average last year at every meeting. We're up to 15 to 20 at every PTO meeting now. So very exciting. And not only are we having exciting times with changing our academics, but the fact that we received a grant and that hopefully the new playground will be in place for the students when we start the school year. This has led to some wonderful writing samples of our students. I received 22 kindergarten letters in my mailbox today, and they needed to write a letter about a problem and their opinion on how to solve it. And they were the cutest little letters I had today. And one of them told me that our problem was our playground, that it is too small, and in her opinion, if we could get a slide with glitter, everything would be better. So we're going to have a very exciting playground with the input of the numerous students that have been trying to persuade me through their writing. They've persuaded me through speeches. They're writing letters, and it's become a great topic throughout the school in order to make their writing more meaningful as well. So, thank you.